Today we're gonna make an awesome dish that I wasn't too familiar with up until a couple years ago. It's called Chicken Vesuvio. It was invented in the Chicago area. I think it's a great one. Let's get to prepping all those ingredients right now. All right, guys, I always like to go over these ingredients before we get into making the dish. We'll start up on the top here. So I'm gonna use 2 cups of frozen peas. We're gonna use 1 cup of dry white wine. Right here I have Sauvignon Blanc, but use Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay. Just don't get an oaked version of Chardonnay. 1 cup low sodium chicken stock. I have about 2 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes. Yukon Golds are great potatoes. I use them probably the most out of any potato, and I cut them into fairly large wedges, like this. Butter is gonna finish the sauce. We have a lot of dried oregano. We're gonna put a lot of salt on the chicken. Chicken needs a lot of salt. Without salt, chicken's not so good. It's really not. About 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, but you can add more. That's why I have another lemon here. For all you guys saying I don't use a lot of garlic, well, today we're using a lot of garlic. And this dish, kind of like how I did the chicken scarp a while back, really, really nice with a lot of garlic. And then we have parsley. That's gonna finish things up. As far as the chicken thighs go, I trimmed them up a lot. I don't want all that excess skin. Take that skin, save it for when you're making chicken soup. So the first thing we wanna do is roast these potatoes. Set 1 rack on your oven to the lowest level, set the other rack to the highest level. Gonna drizzle these potatoes with olive oil, probably about a 1/4 cup. You don't have to be exact with this. All right, so we got some pepper on there. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt, probably about a teaspoon, and I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of the dried oregano on. We're gonna be using a lot of this oregano. So we're just gonna kind of toss these together. If you think you need a little bit more oil, you put more oil on. If you think you need a little bit of more salt, pepper, or oregano, you put that on too. And I have a baking sheet with parchment paper. You don't need parchment paper, guys. It just makes it a little bit easier for cleanup, but this will probably go over the sides anyway and have to be cleaned up regardless. We're just gonna put these down on one side, one flat side. That's it. We're gonna roast them. We're not gonna get them roasted on both sides. We're not gonna be perfect here. I think that looks pretty good. Bottom rack right now, 450 degrees. We're going to use our really large pan again, 14-inch pan. You could use a 12-inch, a 10-inch, whatever. You just do multiple batches. I still might need to do multiple batches in here. I'm gonna heat this pan up to about a 4.5 out of 10. Gonna let this heat up for about 3 to 4 minutes before we start searing the chicken so that the chicken doesn't stick. If you put the chicken down in there without doing that, it's gonna stick all over. You're not gonna be able to flip it. And you wanna be able to flip it. While our pan is heating up, let's season the chicken. Gonna put salt, pepper, and oregano on both sides. I know, it looks like a lot, right? It's good, trust me, it's really good. I'm just using regular oregano here, guys. I'm not using the Sicilian or anything, though you definitely could. Take a hand. You're gonna have to probably wash your hands again now, but you gotta do this. That's why I put the salt and pepper, guys, in these bowls right here, because if I'm reaching into my regular salt box or whatnot, it's gonna get contaminated, and you don't want it to get contaminated. All right, gonna flip these and gonna do the other side. All right, so our pan now, it's on about a 4 to a 4.5 out of 10. Gonna put some oil down, just a little bit, that's all we need. Skin side down, guys. And when you put it down, just kind of put it away from you, instead of like, you know, if you put it down this way, it might splatter all over your really nice flannel. I could probably fit them all in here, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna just do it this way. It's gonna make it easier, and we'll get a little bit better sear on them. You only need about 5 minutes on the skin side and about 4 minutes on the non-skin side. The chicken thighs aren't gonna cook all the way. We're gonna finish them in the oven with the potatoes, okay? It's been about 6 minutes. Let's flip the chicken. So it should come off very easily like it just did. If you don't have enough color on at this point, throw it back down, skin side down. You know, chicken thighs can go for a very long time. You're not gonna overcook them. That's part of the reason why I like chicken thighs. For the print recipe, I used a whole chicken that I broke down. That's great too. It'll be even cheaper for you to do it that way. That's still your best deal, is to buy a whole chicken for the value. So we're gonna do about 5 more minutes on this side. Here are those potatoes. You can see right there how brown they are. So nice and brown on one side. All right, so these went for about 5 minutes on this side. We're gonna take them out. Pop these on a plate. So I have 4 more pieces. I use 9 chicken thighs, or about 3.5 pounds of chicken. You can scale this recipe up really easily. Your potatoes are off to the side. You're gonna finish this last batch of chicken now. Set your oven to 375 degrees now. You're lowering the temperature. Oil, chicken fat is everywhere. That's one disadvantage of cooking not on your stovetop. Garlic, throw it in. Just gonna let this get golden. Smells so good. If for some reason you didn't have enough chicken fat and oil in the pan right now, just hit it up with a couple more tablespoons of olive oil, but we have plenty. And it gets golden in a matter of a couple, maybe 60 seconds, maybe 120. You could lower the heat more and you could wait a little bit, but just as long as you're not scorching hot, you'll be fine. Because right after this, we're gonna put some liquid in the pan. And the liquid is gonna be white wine and chicken stock, like we use in pretty much every dish. About that much we're gonna use of this white wine, maybe about there. Keep your head away when you do this, all right? That's good, right about that much. And you can put the chicken stock in right away too. And if you did use chicken base like I did, it's all at the bottom there in the glass, see that? Make sure you get that out of there. Just take a tiny bit more water. There you go. Now just turn your heat up to high, and we're gonna let this, we put in 1 cup of wine, 1 cup of stock. We're gonna reduce this to about 1 cup. It's gonna take, depending on your burner, 4 minutes, around there. But just look at it, you'll see. You'll see how it reduces. When you put the wine down, whatever, you can scrape the bottom to remove those brown bits, and then you can make something with those brown bits. You can see it's reduced and thickened. See that? Okay. Turn off the heat. I don't know right now. I'm looking at the potato situation and the chicken, if we're gonna be able to fit it all in here. I think we'll be able to do it. It's just one less pan we have to mess up. Now, if you did use a small pan, you're gonna take out your baking dish, like a big one or a roasting pan, and just arrange everything in there. Oh yeah, the one thing I forgot, and yeah, I forgot this, is the lemon juice. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. We're not gonna test our sauce now. We don't need to test the seasoning. We're not gonna add salt and pepper to it. You're gonna see at the end, we're gonna fix up this sauce a little bit more. And the flavors are gonna reduce anyway. They're gonna concentrate. We don't wanna potentially over salt anything. All right, these chicken's cool enough to touch now. These garlic cloves are amazing in there. Just so good. So Italian-American, like lots of garlic, not 1 clove, stuff like that. I like both types of cooking, but this is really nice with this. All right, I think we're gonna be good. Now, guys, look at these potatoes. Look how brown those are. Amazing, right? And then the other side is bare. If you go the other way, then you're gonna cook them for a full 40, you don't need to then roast them in here with this. Just gonna kind of nestle them in. When you put your chicken, make sure you keep that skin up so it'll stay relatively crispy. Really heavy pan there. Get this in the oven. We'll check it with an instant read thermometer. See what we get here. Try to get in the center of that thigh without touching the bone. All right, so I got 172 right here, 173. That's perfect. To do this, it took me 18 minutes. I cooked it at 375 degrees. And then for the last 2 minutes, I turned the broiler on. You could broil it even more if you wanted to crisp up everything. We got our skin relatively crispy from the initial searing process. While that was cooking, I cleaned up my whole work surface here, get rid of all that raw chicken, anything else that might be around, washed my tongs. I want to use something that has holes in it, so I'm leaving the sauce in here because we're going to thicken that up right now. We're going to add our peas. I'm sure you were wondering when are the peas going to come into play. This is just a great platter that I have, tremendous platter I got in Maine at the La Crusette outlet. We could leave some of the garlic in there. That doesn't particularly matter. This looks phenomenal just like this, but we're going to make it even better. Listen to me. This pan was in the oven. So say even if you have a roasting pan that you're using, do not touch it right now. Sometimes you make the mistake about that. All right, we're gonna bring this up to a boil right now. So I'm gonna let this just thicken up just a tiny bit more. Get the peas in, and then the peas when you put in will be frozen, so they'll have some water in them too. See, I'm just checking it like this. That's it, that's all I'm doing. I'm gonna lower it down now to about medium heat. Make sure your peas are hot before you put this over the chicken, and taste your sauce. There's enough salt, even though I didn't put salt in the sauce. It's all from that chicken, the heavily seasoned chicken. We don't need any more salt here. I will put pepper in. And then I'm gonna turn this off. Also, if you think you need a little bit more lemon juice too, you can add it in at this point as well. And I'll put in most of the butter. And we'll just whisk that in, and that'll just make it a little richer, thicken it up just a bit, maybe a little bit more butter. This is not a health channel, guys, at all. You know? That is delicious. And that's a good consistency now, just like that. You could put in most of your parsley here and save a little bit to garnish. All right, there it is, guys. Let's get the taste tester down here. So how was school, buddy?
It was good.
Yeah, you ready for this?
Yeah.
You've had this, I've made this a few times. Do you remember it?
I don't really remember it.
So it's called Chicken Vesuvio. People really, they want to hear your ratings every time. They're like, they really want to know. I'll give you some sauce.
I like it a lot.
Be honest, yeah. Whatever you want to give it, I'm okay with it. I can take it.
I really like it. I think a 9.
A 9, huh? That's awesome. Thank you, buddy.
I don't know when I'm gonna give it a 10.
Listen, I'll take a 9 any day of the week.
I just don't want to lose people's trust.
No, that's good. You should try the garlic too. The little garlic pieces. You did have a piece?
Yeah, it's really good.
Guys, the garlic is so good. That's what I love about it.
Special thanks to Patreon producers Chris Whalen, Steve Winitsky, Paul Walter Hauser, Elizabeth Shaw, Joe Hardage, John Andolino, Kenneth Parker, Matt Fisher, Tom Branca, Mike Tamburino, Matthew Amore, Richard P. Boanvanek, Alex Eckleberry, Andrew Uhas, Paul Batman, Patrick Lang, John Kelly, Jonathan Papini, Ronnie Mask, Trevor, JB, Monica Tarot, Josh Avon, Ed Calamag, Daryl Crone, Pedro Basso, Patricia M. Siefkin, Andy W., Frank Crum, Michael LaRocca, James McVeigh, Michael Martinez, and Liz Fleischer.